Hi, this is Sean from Fortis Fitness with a quick introduction and demonstration of our Fortis push-up harness. So here it is, custom made. I'm going to put this thing on, crosses in the back, slide it on like a vest, and there's an O-ring, slide that in, and then there's another connector. Connects to an actual plate holder. You can hold unlimited plates on this thing. The chain and the connector actually go right through the holes in the standard Olympic plate. And then this connector, depending on the range you want to use, goes right into the plate holder. There we go. It's our push-up harness. It's padded, heavy duty, crosses in the back, very comfortable. All right, the push-up has been around forever. It's such a great exercise. And it's also cool because it's the reverse of a bench press. There's problems inherent with scaling a push-up with weight though. Number one, if I put something on my back muscles, my arms, my shoulders, they're moving when I do the actual exercise. So that can be irritating to the point where you're trying to balance something on your back, whether it be plates or chains or whatever it may be. And you think more about that than the actual push-up, and that's a major problem. Another issue is if I do put plates or a sandbag or chains on my back, I have to place them there, and that's a problem if I'm trying to get to the push-up position. It's really difficult to do that yourself, so you almost always need a partner. And then there's always the chance that the stuff is going to fall off because, again, your back is actually moving. If you're doing a push-up with a bar, things get even sketchier because now the thing can become dangerous. If I'm doing a push-up on the floor and I miss a rep, the weight on my back is going to come down and crush me into the floor. Not a big deal, but if I have a bar in my hands and my hands slip, now I can lose my teeth. Gravity's going to take me down with weight on my back, and it can hit my face, my neck, any of that stuff, and that's a major problem. Finally, a regular push-up doesn't give me a lot of range. I'm going down, chest touch the floor, and I'm going back up. So we created this harness to basically answer all of these issues and provide solutions for all of them. So you can do a really comfortable, scalable push-up with almost unlimited resistance. Ergo the Fortis push-up harness. Okay, so now I'm going to quickly demonstrate this thing. We had these neutral and regular grip push-up handles made for our standard rack. So I'm using these today. I've got an elevated box for my feet, and I got a little bit of weight here. I'm going to just pop down, clip in, get into the push-up position, and I'm done. I'm just going to clip out. All right. Interesting thing about doing the push-up with this thing, setting it up. If I raise the handles, I've got more of a decline effect. I can have my feet right on the floor instead of an elevated box, and I can come as high as I want. It's going to make it a little easier, obviously. If I lower the handles and keep them the same way, same height, and I increase whatever the feet are on, it's going to be more of an incline effect. More of the upper pecs are going to get hit. All right? Also, I can use as much resistance as I want because the chain, again, will go right through a standard hole in an Olympic plate. Now, by adjusting the chain, I can change the range. So I can do what is in effect a partial, or I can do what's akin to a cambered bar bench press and come down with my chest going below where the floor would be. Which is also interesting. So I can change the range, I can change the angle, incline, decline. My grip can be neutral with these particular things. I can change the width of my grip. I can also lower the plates for a second, let them rest, but retain my tension, obviously, because I'm still holding up my body weight, and keep the chain taut, right? So there's no slack in the chain. That's sort of like a box squat effect for a pressing movement, in this case, a push-up pressing movement. Or I can work the stretch reflex and I can adjust the chain so that the weight hangs in midair and I reverse it without the plates ever touching the ground. So there's all kinds of interesting adaptations that go along with using this thing. Gives you a ton of variation, especially with the range, going partial or going extra low for a long range, working the low part of the bench press movement. Another great thing about this apparatus, it's utterly safe, it's completely safe. On my first rep, if I cannot rip the plates up, I go down on the knee and I lower the weight. I can't completely exercise. Whereas if I have somebody put 5 plates on my back, I'm putting myself in great jeopardy. I could get crushed into the floor. I already talked about the danger of having a bar, using a bar to do push-ups in that way. So this thing's great, and I can always try an extra rep. If I get it part of the way up, but I can't complete the rep, again, I just lower it. The force was not able to overcome the resistance. So this is a completely safe movement that you can scale with almost unlimited resistance. Okay, so a lot of the world's top bench pressers and their coaches talk about the importance of induction, or the eccentric portion of the movement with a bench press. This thing is really, really cool because the proprioception for that stuff is great. These guys talk about bending the bar, about pulling the bar away, and oftentimes they'll grab an elastic band, and it's a great way to show somebody the meaning of that, how to feel that. Pulling the band apart, engaging the lats, the back muscles. But when you use this, when you're coming down, it's unavoidable for you to really feel those back muscles, the lat muscles all contract really, really heavily, really engage. Then you hit the floor or not, and the drive muscles for the bench press, the same ones that you're using for the push-up, they all engage. So this is a great proprioceptive tool for that. Another thing they mention is the feeling that the bar is static and you're pulling the bench away from you. Well, this is an actual example of that. You're actually doing that. The bar is static, these handles are static, with the push-up, you're pushing yourself away. So when you really load this thing up, it's a great proprioceptive tool for all those things. We've used this with great effect. Our members have really liked this thing. It's helped out our bench presses a lot. Use it for assistance or for a main movement, really, really loading it up for speed work, all kinds of stuff. It's patent pending, Fortis push-up harness. We use this thing with some custom-made handles that we make and we actually sell for use in our rack. But this thing is really versatile. You can really use it anywhere where you have a sturdy elevated surface. So I've got 2 identical benches here. I got a plate, I can just pop this down, adjust the height, use it exactly the same way. I can just use my hands. As long as I've got sturdy elevated surface, boom, down I go. I can do that weighted push-up safely. I can also, right off the floor or again on an elevated surface, use standard push-up handles any way I want, neutral, wide, whatever way. Or another tool would be something like a set of parallettes right here. Any of that stuff will work. Okay, so as long as you have an adequate elevated platform that's sturdy, 2 benches or something like this. This is a platform we use for belt squats. You can actually do a low bar type squat movement with this thing. And you can also do good morning style movements as well. It's pretty straightforward. Snap in. If I wanted to do more of a good morning style, then this hangs pretty much where the low bar position would be. A little bit of extension of hips. Hangs right over my center of gravity, feels really good. Okay, you can do pretty much any of these movements as long as you have a long enough chain and some length. It's no problem at all. The other good thing about this is the holes in the front of the plate fit right through. So you could stack 8, 9, 10, 12, as many plates as you want, right up and down the chain. So you can still use a really heavy weight when you're doing these exercises. Okay, another really great way to use this harness is not for push-ups, but for lower back work. Often if you do a good morning with heavy weight, your hips are going to lower, you're going to take the tension off the hamstrings. I know I make that mistake occasionally. With a back extension, you can't lower the hips, so you can't cheat. The problem with a back extension is adding resistance. Usually you have to hold it in your hands. that's a problem if you're using static weight, because you know your arms might give away or your grip. So with this thing, you don't have to worry about that. It's just as much tension you can put on your lower back. That's what you can rip off the floor. So demonstrating really quick, do a couple back extensions, hook in, just hang on to this thing or keep my hands free or make a fist, whatever I like, and I rip it off the floor, up I go. I can adjust the height anywhere I want, lessen the range, increase the range. I can come up, not hit the floor, use the stretch reflex. I can also, this is really kind of interesting, put a heavy weight on and hold, do a static hold for as long as I can with whatever amount of weight I want. So that's two more ways you can use this piece of equipment that we found to be really effective. Okay, so this is a pretty versatile piece of equipment. As you can see, we can use it for any type of push-up movement, any type of grip, anywhere in the range. You can also use it for a low bar good morning or squat, again, right off the floor. And it's really good for scaling, adding weight to a back extension, for a really strict back extension for back work, static holds or the full movement. So, it's called a Fortis push-up harness. It's actually patent pending. Thanks for visiting us at fortisfitness.ca.